Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm your host, Michelle Stern. This is a very short video, and I'd appreciate it if you listened all the way through to the end. It is a video that discusses citizenship. Many persons don't understand who is a citizen, and therefore we're here to explain. We're going to delve into the Constitution, what it says, and at the end of the day, hopefully, you would have gotten some information that you may not have had before, and you can tell a friend to tell a friend. For context, let us now turn to the national leadership debate, which took place recently.
Mr. Golding, the PNP is promising a tax break for small businesses for the first 3 years of formally incorporating, as well as a raft of other targeted tax relief measures. How do you respond to criticisms that your tax plan reintroduces inefficiencies, tax avoidance, and corruption into the tax system that have been eliminated over the past 15 years?
First of all, I think the Prime Minister repeated innuendo or direct attack which has been leveled by his party on my nationality. And, I just wanted to just make it absolutely clear that I am indeed born here as a Jamaican. Here is my birth certificate, and it shows I was born at the University Hospital on July 19th, 1965, and it's right here. I hope your camera can pick it up. And I have a copy for you, Prime Minister, right here. And I wish you could provide me with a copy of your certification, but of course you can't do so.
Fact checked. Let me remind Jamaica that what you're looking at here reads birth registration form. This is not a birth certificate. As the caption said, being born in Jamaica does not make you a Jamaican. The matter of citizenship is not a matter that is defined by a dictionary. You cannot go to the dictionary and look up the word citizenship and come to a conclusion about what being a citizen of a country means. The only place that determines who is a citizen of a country is the constitution of that country. That is the only definition that counts. So, Mark Golding said he was born here, and he showed us a slip. Strangely, it would have been the original slip that he is referring to as a birth certificate. Apparently, as a big lawyer in Jamaica, he does not know the difference between a registration form and a birth certificate, which is curious. The second thing I'd like to point out to Jamaica is this very odd thing. This man was born, he said, in 1965, July 19. And what he's showing us is a birth registration form. What he ought to be showing us is what is the birth certificate of today. Now, let us assume that he was born here. Why is it that he does not have or did not display the birth certificate, which is supposed to go along with this? Is it possible that he never applied for a birth certificate? All he has in his hand is what he's showing you, the registration form. Now, if that is the case, then when he applied for his passport for the first time in 2011, when he was in his 46th year, when he was almost 46 years old, what did he use as his proof of entitlement to this passport? Was it this birth registration form? Was this what he used? Because if this was what he used, again, it shows that this man has no commitment whatsoever to this country. He has no commitment and no regard for this country. Not even to spend a little $900 or $1,000-something back then to acquire a new birth certificate did he seek to do. Instead, he would have gone to the passport office, and because of his position as a senator, They would have allowed him, I would suppose, to use this birth registration form to get a Jamaican passport. These are the things that we are talking about. And what makes you a Jamaican is what the Constitution of Jamaica says that makes you a Jamaican. If you were born in Jamaica and you subsequently renounced your Jamaican citizenship and accepted citizenship from another country, you, under the laws of Jamaica and international law, you are no longer a Jamaican. So the fact that you are born in Jamaica does not mean you are Jamaican. The second circumstance in which being born in Jamaica does not mean you're Jamaican. For that, we will turn now to the Constitution of Jamaica and let it tell us who is indeed a Jamaican and who is not. Firstly, according to Section 3B, subsection 3 of the Jamaican Constitution, a person shall not become a citizen of Jamaica by virtue of this section if at the time of his birth his father or mother possesses such immunity from suit and legal process as is accorded to an envoy of a foreign sovereign power accredited to Her Majesty in right of her government in Jamaica, and neither of his parents is a citizen of Jamaica. So the first thing that we need to establish here is where Mark Golding's parents were born. His father was born in London, England in 1921, and his mother was born in North Yorkshire, a place called Scarborough, in 1932 or 31, December 24. So we have established that both his parents are not Jamaicans. Nobody for him are Jamaicans. So he cannot claim Jamaican citizenship by descent. It must be birth or by marriage, or he chooses to naturalize. Now, he claims that he's a Jamaican citizen by birth. But according to what it says here at section 3B, 3A, if his parents, either of them, not born in Jamaica, possess such immunity from lawsuits and legal process, meaning if they commit a crime in Jamaica, they cannot be prosecuted. If they did something to someone, they cannot be sued. They are protected by international law, as would be the case with a diplomat who is as it says here, an envoy of a foreign sovereign power, accredited to Her Majesty in right of her government in Jamaica. But it is not only a diplomat that is entitled to immunity from prosecution and lawsuits in Jamaica. Under the British law, the British Nationality Act of 1948, and I'm sure onward, there's a category of persons who also may receive immunity from prosecution and lawsuits. And those are persons who are or who hold official positions in institutions, international institutions such as the UN or WHO and so on. And those institutions are accredited to Her Majesty. So even the envoys stationed here in Jamaica, they also enjoy the same immunity as if they were diplomats. So what now is subsection 3B3 saying? It is saying that any child that is born here in Jamaica to such parents or parent is not a Jamaican citizen. Their citizenship belongs to the country from which the parent is from. And I think most of us know that. What you may not know, as I did not know until I researched it, was that those persons you see here in Jamaica, who are part of the UN, UNESCO, and so on, who were born elsewhere, they would be also entitled to immunity, just as if they were diplomats. At least that is what it says in the British law. So if Mark Golding's parents were working for any of those organizations or some other organization that is accredited by the British monarch or by the British government, then he would have fallen into that category of being immune from prosecution or lawsuits in Jamaica. Are you understanding me? Yes. And one of the things that we know, according to Mark, about his father, he was involved in a lot more of other things than he was actually doing or conducting orthopedic surgery. Now, one more thing that we need to understand is that the critical point at which all of this applies is at the time when he was born. What was the status of his parents at the time when he was born? Not the status before and not the status after, but at the time when the child was born, what was the status of the parents? Now, since we found out that Mark Golding did not hold a Jamaican passport until 2011 in his 46th year, for the first time, there is something that we never did. Nobody ever asked him why. Why did you apply for your Jamaican passport for the first time in 2011 in your 46th year? Why did you not have a Jamaican passport before that? And to be fair, we ought to ask him the question and give him an opportunity to answer. So, Mark Golding, we ask you this question. Why, if you were born in Jamaica, as you said, and you are a citizen by virtue of that birth, why is it that for the first time in your entire life, at the age of 46, you applied for a Jamaican passport? What took you so long? How were you able to enter and exit Jamaica on your British passport? Was it your father who told you not to apply for a Jamaican passport? And if he did, why would he have done so? And while you're answering that, I think maybe there is something I would like you to know, and I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that we found somebody who actually said they went to Oxford University with you. Yes, a comrade, buck him up, in the United States. Yes, he remembered you very, very well. And he seemed to recall something very curious, Mark. He seemed to recall that whenever the English people see you, and obviously it was clear to them that you're a white man, and when they hear your name Golding, it would have been clear to them that you were a Jewish white man. And they would have heard you talk and heard the accent and would have been very curious and therefore come and ask you, where are you from? For those who recognize the accent, they would have known that it is a Jamaican accent and ask you about it. What was it that you told your fellow British citizen at Oxford University? Did you tell anybody that you were born in Jamaica when they asked you? Anybody at all? Because my understanding is that when this Jamaican heard you say that you were born in Jamaica and flashing that registration form, he was utterly shocked. He said it was the first time he was hearing that you were born in Jamaica. You always told them there that you were a British citizen, not a Jamaican citizen. You mentioned nothing about being born in Jamaica. Your distinct impression that you sought to give your colleagues at the Oxford University who asked you about it was that you're British, your parents are British, and all of you went to Jamaica in order for them to work. And that was why you attended school in Jamaica. Wasn't that what you told them? Hmm? Were you speaking the truth then, or are you speaking the truth now? Which one is it? You have a lot to explain to the Jamaican people, but of course, you don't think that you need to explain anything to anybody. You're massa, and we are the slaves, and that should be that. Well, I sincerely hope that come Wednesday, the people of this country will show you who is the boss and fire you in no uncertain term. No uncertain term. And then that will be the end of that. And I sincerely hope that you will be the first of many of the parasites that have taken over the PNP to be rejected by the people. Anyway, folks, I hope I was able to bring you some information you may not have had before. Please remember to give the video a thumbs up and share, as well as subscribe, and feel free to leave your comments in the comments section. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves and walk good.